World's Fair stars Anna Cobb as teenager Casey. Alone in her attic bedroom, she becomes immersed in an online role-playing horror game wherein she begins to document the changes that may or may not be happening to her. This is written and directed by Jane Schoenbrunn in her feature debut, and it premiered at Sundance 2021, where it received critical acclaim before getting a limited theatrical release and VOD release this April. And I was highly anticipating it given a lot of the hype it was receiving. It attempts to explore the psychological effects of the deepest, darkest corners of the internet, as we see Casey slowly descending into the state of madness as a result of her involvement in this online game. We see in the opening sequence her taking this World's Fair challenge, which is almost a Candyman-like summoning ritual that involves the individual taking part to repeat a phrase and making some sort of quote-unquote sacrifice. And from there we see her start losing it as she thinks she undergoes these changes, though the question becomes if she's just so involved in this online community that it's actually all in her head. But what further brings all that into question are these cutaways to videos of other people saying they took the challenge and saying they also underwent weird feelings, while Casey begins talking to a creepy figure online known as JLB, who begins showing supposed concern for her. There's an experimental structure to the film that's definitely going to be divisive among audiences, with lingering shots of Casey doing these weird acts in a room or contemplating her loneliness in silence, and we'll even see some of these through the point of view of her recording a video. And the same goes to the cutaways of anyone speaking about the World's Fair challenge. It's less of her going through some path of discovery and more an examination of her behavior in tandem with her involvement in this community. And regarding the community, while there isn't a condescending internet is bad message as we've seen in other films that try tackling the more toxic elements of online culture, this does a solid job of capturing the atmosphere associated with the darker elements of the internet, especially in its use as an escape for those who feel isolated, and the way that escapism can morph into something much more harmful. And that's especially once we get introduced to JLB, which leads to several of the most unsettling moments in the film. However, I don't think that the emotional impact was quite always felt, mainly due to its slow burn style and its experimental structure. The stories by the others who experienced the World's Fair challenge were primarily there to just add to the mood, and regarding Casey herself, because of just how disconnected she felt and because of how much her scenes consisted of her exhibiting odd behavior and wondering if it's all truly happening, it just felt like there wasn't that much there in terms of any sort of emotionally satisfying arc for us to be invested in necessarily. Now, I thought Anna Cobb was great here, and I got what the film was ultimately going for in terms of its examination of behavior and the internet, and it accomplished all that well. I think Jane Schoenbrunn brings up a lot of interesting ideas that has me looking forward to see what else she'll have in store for future films. But While We're All Going to the World's Fair is executed well, and it gets down a particular unsettling mood that I think some audiences will be able to connect to, its experimental style doesn't quite always work, with such a heavy emphasis on atmosphere that it prevents the film from having any sort of emotional satisfaction. I think it accomplished what it sets out to do, and for that I respect it, and I think if you're looking for something completely different in your horror movies, I'd say this is worth watching at least once. I just don't know if this is something I'd ultimately find myself revisiting, at least not right away. We're All Going to the World's Fair gets a 6 out of 10. So let me know, did you see We're All Going to the World's Fair, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you find it unsettling? Is it one of your new favorite horror movies of the year? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.